1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has warned the world to take notice of India's ultra-nationalist ideology based on Nazism, otherwise the situation will turn far worse. Addressing a seminar in Islamabad this evening, UN chief urged the international community to come forward and recognize Pakistan's efforts for regional peace. Foreign Minister has reiterated that Pakistan will continue its efforts for political settlement of Afghan conflict. Government has decided to take all necessary steps to curb smuggling of wheat, onions, tomatoes and other items from the eastern and western borders. Senate unanimously passed a resolution today expressing dismay over the continued occupation of Palestinians' land and detention of hundreds of Palestinians by Israel. In occupied Kashmir, Indian authorities have stopped people from visiting APHC chairman Sayyid Ali Gilani, who is suffering from severe chest infection. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has warned the world to take notice of India's ultra-nationalist ideology based on Nazism. Otherwise, the situation will turn far worse. Addressing two-day refugee summit Islamabad on 40 years of hosting Afghan refugees in Pakistan today, he said if this ideology is not checked, this will lead to destruction and the region will become a flashpoint. The Prime Minister said because of the Hindutva ideology, Kashmiris have been persecuted for over 200 days while living under a lockdown. He said under the same ideology, BJP government passed two discriminatory nationalistic legislations targeting 200 million Muslims in India. Imran Khan said if the international community does not take notice of this situation, it will create another refugee crisis for Pakistan, as Muslims of India have been asked to move to Pakistan. Addressing the summit, the Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi said Pakistan is pursuing a policy of return of Afghan refugees with dignity, safety and honor. He said Pakistan will continue supporting Afghan-owned and lead peace process. The Foreign Minister said Pakistan hosted 5 million Afghan refugees and today 3 million registered and unregistered Afghan refugees are residing in Pakistan. He urged the world to join hands with Pakistan to provide basic needs to Afghan refugees and enable them to live a dignified life. Addressing the refugee summit in Islamabad, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres underlined the need for renewed commitment to peace in Afghanistan for successful repatriation of Afghan refugees. The Secretary-General said we are here to serve people from Afghanistan who deserve peace and stability and repatriation with safety and dignity. He said people of Pakistan extended generosity to the Afghan refugees for 40 years and this story is very close to his heart. He said Pakistan is still the second largest country in hosting refugees. He said despite many challenges, Pakistan set a good example. Addressing a seminar in Islamabad this evening, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said Pakistan is playing a key role in promoting regional peace and resolving disputes under UN peacekeeping obligations. He said international community values sacrifices rendered by Pakistani troops and soldiers for building safer and peaceful world. The UN chief said Pakistani troops have excellent contribution in UN peacekeeping missions, which cannot be forgotten. Antonio Guterres also urged the international community to come forward and recognize Pakistan's efforts for regional peace and stability. In his address, Director General, Military Operations, Major General Noman Zakaria said Pakistan has sent over 200,000 troops for 46 missions in 28 different countries during the last 60 years. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says Pakistan will continue its efforts for political settlement of Afghan conflict. He was talking to U.S. Special Representative for Afghan Reconciliation Zalmay Khalilzad in Islamabad this evening. He said Islamabad will continue to support an Afghan-owned and Afghan-led peace process for regional stability. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said that Pakistan will prepare a comprehensive timeline framework for honorable repatriation of all Afghan refugees. Speaking on the occasion, Zalmay Khalilzad appreciated Pakistan's efforts for regional peace and stability, and also said Islamabad hosted Afghan refugees for 4 decades with open mind. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has urged the international community to support Pakistan in the cause of hosting Afghan refugees. Addressing joint news conference with Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi in Islamabad this afternoon, he said Pakistan needs world support in hosting millions of Afghan refugees. The UN Secretary-General expressed gratitude for generosity of Pakistan by opening borders and hearts for refugees. This is Radio Pakistan. Government has decided to further accelerate administrative measures against the hoarding of essential commodities. A decision to this effect was taken at a meeting chaired by Prime Minister Imran Khan in Islamabad today, which reviewed the prices of essential commodities. It was decided to take all necessary steps to curb smuggling of wheat, onion, tomatoes and other items from the eastern and western borders. The meeting directed the Commerce Ministry to frame a mechanism in consultations with the stakeholders in order to pass on the relief of reduction in the international prices of ghee to the masses. Addressing the meeting, the Prime Minister said bringing stability in prices of essential commodities and reducing them to the possible level is among top priorities of the government. He said the government has focused its entire attention on provision of relief to the poor people so they could get essential commodities at reasonable rates and the burden of inflation on these segments is reduced. Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashikawan says Prime Minister Imran Khan has fulfilled the promise of reforms in civil services. In a series of tweets today, she said these reforms will prove a milestone in improving the performance of civil service. Senate today unanimously passed a resolution expressing dismay over the continued occupation of Palestinians' land and detention of hundreds of Palestinians by Israel. The resolution was moved by Senator Mushtaq Ahmed. The House was deeply concerned by the so-called deal of the century that is tantamount to an instrument of humiliating surrender for the Palestinians before the oppressor. The resolution also called for the establishment of a sovereign Palestinian state, safe return of all Palestinians to their homes and lands currently in illegitimate possession of Israeli settlers in breach of international law, and stopping the acts of aggression against Palestinians. In occupied Kashmir, Indian authorities are not allowing people to visit the APHC chairman Sayyid Ali Gilani, who is suffering from severe chest infection for the past few days. According to Kashmir Media Service, Indian forces have been deployed in bulk outside the Haidarpura residence of the veteran leader to make it sure that no one enters the house to inquire about his health. The Hurriyat leaders and organizations in their statements in Srinagar said that India is conspiring to let Sayyid Ali Gilani die by denying him access to the proper treatment. Meanwhile, India denied a British lawmaker who is highly critical of policies of New Delhi about Kashmir entry after she landed at New Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport today. Debbie Abrahams, a Labour Party member of Parliament who chairs a parliamentary group on Kashmir, was inhumanly treated by the Indian officials at the airport. In Afghanistan, at least 5 soldiers have been killed in a Taliban attack on a security checkpoint in northern Kunduz province. According to police, the Taliban also clashed with the reinforcement forces in the area. In Yemen, 18 armed Houthi rebels were killed while trying to access a military zone in Al-Jaf province. State media reported that a number of rebels were also wounded during the operation. According to the UN, tens of thousands of Yemenis, including civilians, are believed to have been killed, while another 14 million are at risk of starvation because of the crisis in the country. And finally, the weather. Mainly dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while cold in upper parts during next 24 hours. However, rains that fall over the hills is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.